Hello, everybody. My name is Stephen Meade with Domicile Real Estate, where we are on a mission to help California's renters become homeowners. And one of the things that I've talked about a ton, because it is true, and I've seen it time and time again, people have a lot of weird biases when they make real estate decisions. And one of those is they tend to focus on the things that are right in front of them and not the things that are important maybe down the line. So, a good example of that is people will focus on what is happening in the next, say, 12 months of their life and not thinking about what's going to happen in, say, the next 15 years. And so I thought I would do something fun. And I'm going to be honest, I actually did not know exactly how this was going to turn out before I did it. And I'm a big fan of having real life examples. I think that people learn a lot from real life examples. So I thought to myself, what would happen to the person who bought a house at the worst possible time of the last 25 years? That would be in the spring or summer of 2007, right? If you bought a home at the worst possible time, like you are just unlucky and bad at making decisions, right? You have mistimed the market in the worst possible way. Where would you be today? And so I thought I would share with you kind of some of the stuff that we had gone over. And again, this is a real life example. So we took a look at a house that actually sold in April of 2007, 2449 West Broadway in Anaheim. It's an entry-level single-family home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,358 square feet. If you are a first-time buyer out there, this may be very similar to the type of home that you would be looking at today as an entry-level single-family home. And this home sold in April of 2007. Again, arguably the worst time, timing-wise, in the last 25 years to buy a house. It sold for $550,000. And I thought if this person was a first-time home buyer, much like you probably are if you're watching this, I said, what if they had put 5% down, or $27,500, which is 5% of $550, and the prevailing mortgage rates at the time were 6.18%. Including property taxes, insurance, that person would have ended up in 2007 with a payment of $4,140. Now, I'm going to say something else right now because I think it's really important. There's a little detail, and we're going to come back to this. The median rent on a single family home in Orange County in April of 2007 was $2,900 a month. So that was the median rent that people were paying for single family homes in Orange County. So imagine this, you have bought this home for $550,000 in 2007. What happened 2008 through roughly 2012 or so? Definitely maybe a little bit of even a scary time. I don't think we're in a situation like that, but hey, we're going for the worst case scenario, right? That's I'm a worrier, right? So I love worst case scenarios. It's probably like one of my favorite things to analyze, worst case scenarios. So you bought this home in 2007 for $550,000. The market proceeded to drop, and you probably were thinking you had made the biggest mistake in your life. But have you really made a mistake? And so where would you be now in October of 2022, about 15 years later? And the reason why we're using this 15 years as a benchmark also is because this really is the time horizon you should be thinking about. If you are looking to buy a home, you're not trying to figure out, is my life better off than it was a year ago? You're thinking, am I set up for the future? Where is my life? Where has it moved over these 15 years versus doing nothing at all? So fast forward, October 2022. How did we do? Well, not that Zillow is the end all of property values, but one thing that Zillow does is it assumes that a property has not changed. So assuming the property has not changed, they're estimating the present value is $772,000, or about $222,000 more than that price in 2007. So that's pretty good there. And by this time, if you had just been steadily paying the loan down, you would have ended up with a loan balance of $378,000. But what happened in the last year? What's the amazing thing that happened to people who had existing loans? Well, they had a chance to refinance. So let's assume your timing wasn't great and you missed the cheapest rates, but you ended up at about 3.45%, which is, I think, around where the rates were in January of this year. So you might not have timed it perfectly, but you still got a lower rate. So taking into account that you would pay down a bit of that loan over the last 15 years and that the rates are now 3.45%, your new payment is $25.21 a month. So you are actually paying less by over $1,600 for the same house that you had bought 15 years earlier. So your housing costs actually went down rather than up. And you will now have $394,000 in equity. So despite buying at the worst possible time of the last 25 years, you have seen your equity in your home go from $27,500 to $394,000. But as they say in late night TV, but wait, there's more. Remember how I mentioned that the median rents were $2,900 for single family homes in 2007? Well, what would have happened had you never bought this house at all, right? If you had just kept plugging away, doing your thing, renting out homes. The median rent for a single family home in October 2022 in Orange County was $5,000 a month, almost double what it was. So the person who bought, again, at the worst timing, right? Like they could not have picked worse timing to buy a house. Their payment went from $4,140 down to $2,521 in 2022. And the person who stayed renting saw their rent go from $2,900 up to $5,000 a month. So why are we talking about this? The reason why is to just highlight how much our focus on decisions tends to be right in front of us. And I had a client ask me just this week, I'm very afraid that home prices will go down after I buy a house. And the fact is, home prices go up and down. The last 3 years have been absolutely wonderful. Do I think that home prices may go down? Absolutely, right? I also think there's a chance that interest rates may go up farther than they are today. So that might also put you in a little bit of a not great spot. But the fact is, time wins every single time, every single instance, even if you buy at the worst possible time, in the long run, you end up making out not just okay, but significantly better than had you stay a renter. This is the reason why I believe in homeownership. This is the reason why I think having people who actually own the homes in their communities matters. And, you know, when we look at household wealth, I'm going to throw up a chart here, but it is pretty universal that most household wealth in America belongs to people who own homes, not to people who stayed renting the entire time. This is a simple mathematical fact. Your likelihood of gaining long-term wealth, meaning having wealth in your household over $100,000, is greatly enhanced when you are a homeowner. Does that mean every single moment is going to be great? No. Does that mean that there might not be a moment where you think my house is worth less than I paid for it? That absolutely could happen. And anybody who tells you it won't is just lying and bullshitting you, basically. But the fact is, this is a long game. This is something that you do to really make a better future for yourself and potentially for your family. This is about making decisions that don't just alter where you are in a year, they alter your trajectory. And I think that's really a much more powerful way of looking at it. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know Cassandra, my trusty editor, is going to put in some cool graphics on the screen. I hope so you can follow along with this, but just something we wanted to do to really bring a real life example. So obviously, if you are looking to purchase a home or even sell a home in Los Angeles or Orange counties, we would absolutely love to lend you our expertise. We are about helping people make good real estate decisions. That's really what we do. Make great decisions and then execute them. So if that's you, absolutely reach out to us. We would love to talk to you. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. As always, questions and comments, we love them. We'll see you again real soon.